Welcome to the Nasdaq Market Site. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me for Women's History Month, we have Anna Felt. She's the head of Women's Empowerment Principal Secretary at UN Women. Thank you so much for joining us at the Market Site today. And let's talk about some of the gender-responsive businesses and why they are so important to today's society.
Okay. So let me just first thank you for inviting me to
You're
Nasdaq.
welcome.
It's exciting to be here. I'd like to start with just broadly, gender equality and women's empowerment is a fundamental human right. It is key for peace, prosperity, and well-being in society overall. But it also helps companies to contribute to economic growth and to their bottom line, basically. So, and we believe strongly that companies have the power to make a difference. We have our Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals. The fifth one focuses on gender equality and women's empowerment. And companies really have the power to make a difference here. They are the ones employing talent. They are the one purchasing for millions, if not trillions and billions of dollars. So they are making the choices, whether they are recruiting and retaining women or men, whether they are purchasing from women entrepreneurs or men entrepreneurs. So they have a lot of power to make a difference.
What are the women empowerment principles?
So the women empowerment principles can be seen as a roadmap for business to implement this agenda. There are 7 principles. It goes from leadership. We'd like the CEO to be committed and sign on to these principles. So it's all about corporate leadership and getting the corporate board on board, getting gender equality strategies and policies in the company. So that's the principle 1. Principle 2 focus on the recruitment, retention, promotion of women and men equally in the workplace. 3 focuses more on the health and well-being of the workforce. So here is also linked to what we've heard a lot about recently, sexual harassment, but also more safety in terms of safety standards in the workplace. The principle number 4 focus on education and training. It's very important to educate and train the company both on gender equality matters, but also to allow equal opportunities for women and men to engage in these learning opportunities. Then we have principle number 5, which focuses, it has a dual approach, focusing both on removing gender stereotypes for marketing and advertising, but also to look at what I mentioned earlier about the supply chain to make sure that they're giving equal opportunity and create supply diversity for the company. Principle number 6, focusing on engaging women and men and the broader community where they operate, where the company operates. And it's really about being close to the consumers, close to the stakeholders, close to the community, and to learn from what they need and create products and services that work for the community, but also to be involved in supporting them in case of disasters or other things that happen.
All right, so you had mentioned before that companies really do have significant power when it comes to attaining, retaining talent, the money that they spend. Why should they join this network? What can companies get out of this?
So today there's a lot of risks actually to not take action for gender equality. And we look at risk we know, for example, that the millennials, they represent about 35% of the workforce today. And Deloitte had a recent survey that said that actually in the respondents, 63% more of these millennials that responded saw the main purpose of a company is to improve society and contribute to society versus creating profit for shareholders. So it's really about a changing world where we have different values and different morals for what companies should be doing. So it's really a good time to pay attention to these issues. And so it is risks in terms of not being able to attract the right talent, the best talent on the market. They're getting more picky, we know that. But also not attracting the customers that are actually also looking to companies to make sure that they are buying from companies that associate with their values. The same thing for investors. And if investors see that this company is not attracting the best talent, not having the maximum customers that they could have, or the best policies in place, they might wonder if this is a company to invest in. So we call it today gender lens investing or gender smart investing, where increasing number of investors are actually looking at gender equality as a factor for making their investment decisions analysis. So we have an increasing number, and we see almost every month a new index or a new time of certification of companies related to gender equality and women's empowerment. But there are also opportunities, of course. With all risks and challenges comes opportunities. And one, I actually missed to mention the seventh principle earlier, which focuses on collecting data. So it is a great opportunity to really show what companies are doing by collecting data disaggregated by sex, but also other type of gender data in the company to show what's happening and how progress is being made. Because nobody's judging a company for not being perfect.
Right.
But I think what the market is looking at is to make sure that the company is moving in the right direction. So there are great opportunities as the Secretariat of Women's Empowerment Principles, together with the UN Global Compact. We have presence globally. There are engagement opportunities everywhere in the world. And we organize events, we organize peer-to-peer learning sessions, and it's huge amount of work going into this. And I really hope that the listeners today will join the Women's Empowerment Principles community and really show that they are the leaders as well in this.
All right. Thank you so much, Anna, for joining us at MarketSite. And thank you for joining us for Women's History Month. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.